games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly, 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 bo. Yes, yes, yo. Here we go. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. We've had a few complaints, so we'll go over the complaints as we always tend to do. There's always a complaint. It's normally about the shiny sign or the window or the blind or the fact that that looks like grass on the back of my head or it looks like a big afro or, don't know, you don't like the hippo or we don't. Well, the new one, I've had one on Twitter where we don't like the clop saying boom anymore, even though it's a long-standing joke with the subscribers from the birth of what I will not say. I'm happy to get rid of the clop boom if we all agree to get rid of it. Truth be told, I sort of forgot it were there, but it remains there due to the fact that I think it's funny and it references a time that anybody that knows. So put in the comment if you know why it's there. If nobody knows why it's there, I'll get rid of it. So that's the first complaint. I do take the complaints. The second complaint was we're against the clock. People's time are apparently against the clock. And apparently yesterday I didn't speak about Leeds United properly until about 2 minutes 55 seconds. So he said he was just saying that, you know, but we are against the clock, which I appreciate. Everybody's against the clock. Nobody seems to appreciate, you know, that it probably took me more than that to read his comment, think of a response, type out the response, reply, and then read, you know, the next response. So, you know, I think I never really whinge about Alt, but I would say, you know, gives a bit of a break if I want to bang on a bit at start. We're only having a bit of a laugh about what had gone on at weekend. Nobody do it how he does it. You know what time it is. Quick shit vid. Couple of quick shout-outs to do. I know we're against the clock, but shout out to David Crowley and Mr. P, who are long-term members. If I'm allowed to say it again, I will say it again. I know we're against the clock. But shout out to David Crowley and Mr. P. And then unfortunately to Against the Clock Man. I've got a few shout outs to do for my boys that turned up when I was DJing the other night. So shout out to Regan Lowe, Sean Jackson, Brian Jackson, who I'm presuming is Sean Jackson's brother unless it's a severe coincidence. And then shout out to the great Callie, which I presume is an excellent nickname because I've never met anybody like Alexander the Great or the Great White Shark. Never met one. So shout out to Regan Lowe, Sean Jackson, Brian Jackson, presume the brothers unless it's a coincidence, and the great Callie, who has a great nickname. I'm at Courtyard in Ilkley on Sunday. I'll be DJing 5 from 7, but the hosting Becky and Beckford. So if anybody wants any tickets, I think it starts about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on this Sunday coming. So if anybody wants any tickets, you'd let me know and I'll try and get you sorted. You get printed photo with them both, job lot, and I'll be there. So we'll have a laugh. I'm going to have a few beers. I'm going to get trained through. Have a few beers, have it out. But yes, yo, here we go. We're in, we're on, we're over. Time to go. Ain't nobody down round here. Clout chasers in, clout chasers over. Don't know how long I've been talking, but you're having it. We've signed this Wonderkid. So we're going to talk a bit about Wonderkids today because they are so many of them that never come to any sort of fruition. But we're apparently signing this Wonderkid. He's a left back. He's 16 years old, and this is probably the last you will ever hear of him. He's called Leonard, which I presume might be Leonard, but you know, is it Leonard or Leonard? Who cares? Leonard, dictionary corner moment, although it might be dictionary corner for Leonard. Leonard Ngegi. Ngegi. So Leonard Ngegi or Leonard Ngeg. So, as I say, probably the last you will hear of him. If you go on Champ Manager for the last year coming, or this year coming, until Gray went, they predicted Wonderkids at Leeds United were Charlie Cresswell, who I don't know if anybody saw the highlights of him playing against Marseille the other day, but all 3 goals were, you know, quite literally. One of them was an own goal, which was a bit harsh, and then 2 of them he just gave the ball away and they went on and scored. That Diego Monteiro guy, he's in the Wonderkid bracket. Archie Gray, who's obviously moved on to Tottenham to can't get a minute. Lewis Bate, who we all know what Lewis Bate's doing. That Darko Giabi guy, again, Nonto, I would argue, you know, that's legit. You'd be happy with that as a signing, wouldn't you, on Champ Man. And Lewis Piri. So, not to be confused with Peral Perozzi. So, on a Wonderkid, the first Wonderkid that pops up to my mind, who remembers Jamie McMaster? 16-year-old when Kuel Viduka, when we're getting all this influx of Australian footballers over to the club in and on and over to Thorpe Arch. Jamie McMaster, I used to be all over him, never even seen him play. I was like, this is apparently the man. All the rumours out of Leeds was all over him. Well, Jamie McMaster, does anybody know him? So he began his professional career at Premier League club Leeds United as a 16-year-old in 1999. While at Leeds, he began to be loaned around to smaller clubs within England. He was loaned to Coventry City in 2002 during January transfer market. He returned to Leeds in 2002 before being loaned to Swindon in the January transfer market. Scoring once against Stockport County. Upon returning to Leeds in 2005 season, he was once again loaned, this time to Chesterfield for the entire season. At Chesterfield, he scored twice with goals against QPR and Peterborough, right? So, after Chesterfield, he then goes to AGF Arus and plays 5 games. Then goes to Central Coast Marinas, plays 25 games, gets 1 goal. Then goes to APIA Lichardy Tigers, gets 21 games, scores 8 goals, done quite well at APIA Lichardy Tigers. Then a year later goes to Wollongong CFC, where he played 4 times and got 1 goal. Then the year after that, he's got about a bit as our kid. He goes to Bonnyrigg White Eagles, where he plays 42 times. So he's actually, he stayed there for 2 years, I think, by the looks of it. 2 years there, played 42 games for him, got 8 goals. Then goes to Marconi Stallions, where he plays 21 games, gets 2 goals. Then finishes his career at Sutherland Sharks, where he plays 36 games and got 4 goals. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm still not, Jamie McMaster, to some extent, has had an excellent career, hasn't he, by most 16-year-old standards. He's probably played at whatever that level is. He's still gone around a few decent clubs. Granted, he didn't play for them clubs. Like, if you go to Coventry, he played twice. Went to Chesterfield on loan, got six games. Swindon Town got 4 games. Peterborough 3 games. Chesterfield 8 games. And even at AGF Arus, he only got 5 games. The games that he played for was Bonnyrigg White Eagles, APA Licard Tigers, where he got his most goals, and Central Coast Miners. So that is not a blight against Jamie McMaster, as I say. I'm sure he's a top bloke and a lovely lad. But as a 16-year-old kid, if you can't control a football, then who didn't get scouted as a 16-year-old kid? So this is like, if you didn't get scouted as a 16-year-old kid, well, no, I won't. No, I won't be negative towards anything in that sense, because some people didn't, who turned out to be decent footballers at a low level. But anybody with, I would say, a bit of technical ability or a bit of promise gets scouted, don't they? Well, this is like that on heat, isn't it? On the D-Rugs. So as soon as the D-Rugs come in and then they go, you bang them into the squad and you think, he's the next man. How much are we betting that we do not hear about Leonard and Geggy? If you had to bet a tenner. If you had to bet a tenner, would you bet on that he ends up being a Wonderkid, or that he ends up at Macaroni Stallions, or Wollongong CFC, which is a personal favourite of mine? So what we're saying on that? Lovely stuff. I wish him all the best, and I hope he's a beast. But nobody's coming for my man Firpo right now. Firpo's got the most assists in 2024. Out of everybody in the Championship, he has to stay in for me. Even if this Schmitz guy is decent, which he's meant to be, he can be absolutely ace, then he can go right back. Pretty sure he's right-footed anyway, so I'd much rather him go into right back and keep Firpo on pitch. I don't really know why. If it hadn't have been for the Premier League season that we'd had with Firpo, where his inadequacies were so evident, I think we'd stick with him a lot more than we actually do. It's only because he came into a really poor side, really, in reality. He's not the best defender in the world. I think he's worked it out a bit, Firpo. I honestly do, and I think he's so good going forward. There's nobody in the league that can deliver balls like he delivers. He's so calm around edge at box. His timing of the run's sensational. On Saturday, there was a few people in the crowd. Nonto went through, when Bogle hit the side netting. Nonto went through and they were waiting for Bogle to get up to speed. Well, Firpo's just I think he's so dynamic, to use a word of decent word for it, but he is. Dynamism, getting into box, like underlapping, overlapping. He's just, and his timing, he was constantly on Solomon's shoulder, like he's always in and over and on. All in for Firpo. What a transformation, what a folk legend he is also at Leeds United. Went on Joe's podcast last night and we were discussing the foul on Rodon, which I then went and watched back. And I don't think that's a foul. I don't think the striker's looking at the ball necessarily. My thing on it is, even if it isn't a foul, Rodon has to be stronger in that scenario. I love Rodon and he's going to come like a beast. No homo, but he is. But he has to be stronger in that scenario. At any level of football, you cannot dawdle. That ball is bouncing. It bounces one big bounce and he's waiting and he's waiting. And that striker's on his way over. He must know he's on his way over. He must know he's coming to absolutely annihilate him, or at least attempt to get the ball. Or whether it's a coming together or not, relatively irrelevant is what I'm trying to say. Struijk, it then happened to Struijk in the second half, and Struijk bossed him, absolutely beasted him. So, you know, there's two types of centre-backs there, and I actually think Rodon's probably a better centre-back than Struijk. And Struijk, I know everybody wanks themselves silly over Struijk, and I do really like him. But I think Rodon is a mint centre-back, and we do need to remember how good he was for us last season when we were... I mean, Joe was sort of suggesting that on the podcast yesterday that Ampadu needs to go back into centre-back. Well, I got ridiculed for saying that last year when I said I would never change that. I think them two at back are the absolute boys, but I wouldn't go Ampadu and Struijk. I'd be Ampadu and Rodon. But I actually think we are better off Ampadu in the centre, truly. I actually do. Jay has his reservations about him holding on to the ball a bit too much. I was going to say that about Rothwell yesterday. Everything he does is like... It's all got like, it's just like a 5-yard pass, but he has to put like a bit of finesse on it, like there's something there, and it's like, just pass it, mate, and get your fat ass in gears, you get going. People saying that Gruev needs to watch his step. I think it's a bit hasty, a bit too quick for me. You know, Tanaka's come on for 10 minutes and we're all going absolutely crazy about him. I hope Tanaka's the absolute man. I really do. Truly. Why would I not, you know? I have my reservations about Gruev coming in too deep and what have you, but that seems to have stopped quite significantly. He's had plenty of shots on target this season. He's getting forward more. It's how we set up. There was a lot of stuff said about Meslier, Silent S, that ball, that terrible ball into Ampadu. Ampadu's asking for that ball. Ampadu doesn't have a go at Meslier, Silent S after that. I also think that's because Ampadu's a proper leader, in fairness to him, so I don't think he's going to call Mes Silent S out for that, on the basis that he will take some onus for it as well. I think Rodon and Meslier Silent S are having like little spats and stuff, but whether, you know, I think just shut up and get on with it, really. That's the way we're playing. I don't like the playing out front back in terms of, you know, the two centre-backs playing the goal kick. Just let the keeper take the goal kick. I understand you've got to draw teams out and what have you, and I understand that's the way we play. But sometimes, you know, the ball's got to go centrally. Again, similar thing with Rodon. Ampadu's got to be stronger in that situation. Get to ball first. You know you've got two players on you. Get to ball. And like I said yesterday, if we don't look like we're going to go forward every time, we'll get worked out. So every now and again, Meslier Santos is going to have to pop that ball off into the central area with Ampadu and just trust him with it. I don't like it, but that's just how we play. So we're going to have to get on with it. Increasingly looking likely that Cooper's going to sign a contract, you know, even if it's just like a one-year deal job, because obviously he's a free agent now, and it's fallen through with Hull. The contract's fallen through, so, or whatever were going on. Now, the club were getting stick for not giving him a goodbye, a good see-off, which I actually, you know, I sort of on board with. I thought what they're doing, but then I thought, well, they have been pretty quiet, and they're pretty quiet about everything that they're up to. And I think overall, if you just give your head a shake and actually take it seriously and forget about who left the club, we've had a pretty good window. We've had some decent players in. They might just be looking after his best interests. They might have said to him, they might, you know, people won't believe this, but why not? Why wouldn't they say to Cooper, right, go out. You're not going to get a lot of minutes for us, so go see what's what. Go see what you can get on the market. Go see if people want to sign you. You know, go have a look. Go see what you want to do. You've been a great servant at club. And if all else fails, because, you know, Cooper's going to want that deal. He's going to want the contract coming in, isn't he? But if he's looking around, he'll think, no, don't want to go to Hull, or I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in that shit. I'd rather stay Leeds club captain, because I still think he'd be the club captain. He'd be renowned as, you know, he'd get the armband in certain scenarios. Obviously not now, truth be told, due to the fact that there's a tier system in the Ampadu, Meslier, Silent S and Struick, but there'd be gestures every now and again where he'd be giving it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? He'd still have a massive role at the club, so I think it'd be mint if we got him back in. People still banging on about how Leeds have earned millions and the Leeds board haven't spent millions, but they've earned millions. It's like, just get out of the books now. We can leave it now. It's done. You can all bore me with the books talk like you know the first thing about, I don't know, accounting or economics or even how the clubs run. Or nobody's got a jeffing clue. So you can go, well, I've made 140 mil I saw today, because if I sum up 4 transfers, that makes 140 mil. Oh yeah, a lot of outgoings, a lot of incomings, a lot of different stuff. People think that the fans coming into the ground seems to make a huge difference to how much money the club accumulate and stuff. And I know they put that off against the financial fair play and they say that's the money that they're generating. But in terms of weekly income, I would imagine it's peanuts on the grand scheme of things. Everybody paying 30 odd quid for a ticket is like, I'm not saying it's worthless, and I'm not saying it doesn't help, and I'm not saying they won't be slightly reliant on it. Well, no, I am saying they won't be reliant on it, because if you were reliant on that every week as a company, you'd be fucked. Because, a couple of bad attendances or COVID hits, and then you're done, aren't you? So, not that I want to go, I shouldn't have even said that word on here, because I think you get demonetised. Been a really good August in summary. Everybody said that the August would be the thing that that did us over last year, and we ended up with the 90 points trophy. So now we're on for the 100 points trophy. But good August, professional. It got said last night. I agree with that. I didn't like the West Brom game, but ultimately it looks good now. It's all right. It is what it is. We look like we're going to win games again, as in we're setting up to want to win games, which is all I give a shit about. It's just the football I want to watch, where I feel like in this league we should be going to win every single game that we play. I don't think we should be, dilly-dallying. End of story. I just want to also, I didn't do it yesterday due to the fact I knew we'd be going on Just Joe and talking about it, so I just want to give a quick shout out, or not a shout out to Sol Bamba, sorry. Yeah, I don't have much to say on these things, truth be told, but it just seemed like a proper mint bloke and really bubbly. He's got some really funny clips in interviews. He always seems like that type of gadge that just, lights up every room that he sort of goes in. And we've all got a mate like that where you just, you're on a night out or whatever. I'm not saying Sol Bamba was on the nights out, but, he just comes into the room and it's like energy and like, some people put other people in really good moods, and I feel as though Sol Bamba were like that. So, don't know him, but it would have been lovely to meet him, etc. And it was a bad time for Leeds at the time, and there was not a lot to shout about. I can't think of another single player that I'd really care for in that era. And Sol Bamba was that guy. So, yeah, cheers, everybody. If you're still here at this point, which I doubt you are, because, we're all against the clock, apparently, like and subscribe. It massively helps the channel. I've got a single out on the 13th of September. I truly do appreciate every which one of you. The subscribers has gone up indefinitely. It's gone up by a few hundred in the past few days, which is madness to me. So, it's much appreciated. Peace!
Boom.
JackCity, bitch! JackCity, bitch! Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask.